Good morning. In today's session, we will learn about constants in variables and data types in the Java language. First, we will begin with the constants. Constants andre ಏನಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. Constants are the fixed values that do not change during the execution of the program. We are going to classify the Java constants into two types. One is the numeric constants and the character constants. And numeric constants are again classified as integer constants and the real constants. Whereas character constants are classified as character constants and integer constants. Now we will take up the integer constants. Integer constants andre ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. Integer constants are the constants that consist of a sequence of digits. Integer constants are nothing but they are the sequence of digits, and we are going to classify the integer constants again into three types, that is decimal integer, octal integer and hexadecimal integer. Decimal integer consists of a set of digits ranging from 0 through 9 preceded by an optional minus sign. That is, all the numbers from the digit 0 to 9 represent the decimal numbers. Octal integers consist of a combination of digits from 0 to 7 with a leading 0, whereas hexadecimal integers are preceded by 0x and they range from the digit 0 to 9 and from alphabets A to F. The alphabets A to F represent the numbers from 10 to 15. This is all about the numeric constants. Next we move on to the real constants. There are some occasions where integer constants or integer numbers are inadequate or insufficient to represent quantities that vary continuously, such as distances, height, temperature, prices, etc. That is, some ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಹೈಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಾಗ ಅದು ವೇರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ನ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಫ್ಲೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ದಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಡಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಡೆಸಿಮಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದೆಮ್. These numbers are known as decimal notations, having a whole number followed by a decimal point and a fractional part which is an integer. Next we have the character constants. A single character constant contains a single character enclosed within a pair of single quotes. ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಕೋಟ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನಂಬರ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ನ ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ is always represented in memory in their equivalent ASCII forms. Next, string constants. String constants are always enclosed within the double quotes. These are the sequence of digits or sequence of characters which are enclosed within the double quotes. This is all about the Java constants. Next we move on to the data types. Every variable in Java has a data type. As the name specifies, type, data type, type of the data. It specifies the size and type of value that can be stored. And Java language is rich in its data type, and there are variety of data types available for the programmer to select the appropriate data type based on the needs of the application. And we are going to classify the data types as primitive data types and non-primitive data types. In primitive data types we have Boolean type and numeric type, and numeric type is again classified as character values and integer values, and in integer value again is classified as integer and floating point. In integer we have byte, short, int and long, whereas in the floating point we have float and double. Now we move on to the integer type. Integer type can hold whole numbers such as 1 2 3 or minus 26 or 5639 etc. The size of values can be stored depending on the integer type we choose. Java supports 4 types of integers, that is byte, short, int and long. And the size of byte is 1 byte, that is nothing but 8 bits, whereas short is 2 bytes, int is 4 bytes and long is 8 bytes. Next we have floating point. Floating points, the integer types can hold only whole numbers and therefore we cannot use them as floating point to hold numbers containing fractional part. ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೆಸಿಮಲ್ ಇರೋ ನಂಬರ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಜಾವಾ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ a fraction, which that is a number which consists of a fraction is called as a floating point number. And we are classify the floating point data types into 2 types, that is the float and the double. And the size of float is 4 bytes and double is 8 bytes. And floating point numbers are treated as single precision numbers, while double types represent double precision numbers. Next we have character type. In order to store character constants in memory, Java provides a character data type called char, and the size of char is 2 bytes. And next we have Boolean type. Boolean type is used when we want to test a particular condition during the execution of the program. There are only 2 values that a Boolean can take, that is either true or false. ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬೂಲಿಯನ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಬೂಲಿಯನ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೇಕ್ 2 ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟ್ರೂ ಆರ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್. Is all about the data types. And one thing you have to remember while dealing with the data types in Java is that Java data types, the size of the data types in Java is fixed. That is, if you run on any independent of the machine you run, the size is fixed. Whereas in C and C++, the size of the data types is machine dependent ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Whereas in Java, the size of the data type is fixed. In whichever machine you execute, the value of or size of int will remain 4 bytes only, and float is 4 bytes only, and char is 2 bytes only. So we say that Java is machine independent. Next we move on to variables. Variables are the names of the storage locations. ನಾವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಮೆಮೊರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಆ ಮೆಮೊರಿಗೆ ಆ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಆ ಹೆಸರಿಗೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So once the variable name is chosen, we must declare them to the compiler. And declaration does 3 things. One is it tells the compiler what the variable name is. ಒಂದು ಸತಿ ನಾವು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಹೆಸರು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾದಮೇಲೆ, ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಹೆಸರು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ ವಿಲ್ ನೋ 3 ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ 3 ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್? ಆ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ಏನು ಹೆಸರು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಲೊಕೇಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಡೇಟಾನ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ 3 ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ನ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ಗೆ. Firstly, it tells the declaration of the variable tells the compiler what the variable name is. It specifies what type of data the variable will hold, and the place of declaration decides the scope of the variable. So these are the things we have learned in today's class. One is the constant, data types and variables. In the next classes we will see the scope of the variables and learn more about the variables. Thank you.